look, man, that team played well. Credit to them, coached the floor, and they came out and they played outstanding. And we didn't play good enough. We didn't coach good enough, including me, and we didn't play good enough. So, like I told the team, it's tough, to go in and not certainly play close to your best game, and you hate starting the season out with a loss. And as bad as that is, it's not what it appears to be. So it's like I told them, let's clean up the tape. We made some critical errors at the worst times possible, and you don't do those. You take those out of the equation, and it looks different. You feel like it's going to be a totally different scenario, but we did make those critical errors at the worst time. So, man, we're going to learn from it. We'll clean it up. It gives us a little barometer where we're at, game one, and that's okay. It's always about improving no matter what. So we're going to take it and we're going to improve.
And offensively, I think it was one play over 20 yards today. What were they doing that was kind of taking that part of your offense away?
Yeah, well, we knew they play deep coverage, man. They play a lot of cover two. They'll play some three buzz. They, and they keep everything in front of them. That's how that defense is designed. And so we knew that, and the plan was to stay patient, be patient, which I thought golf was. We took what was there and felt like eventually those shots would show. Just couldn't quite get to them. By the time you get a chance, or you hope you do, you're down, 2 scores. So that's the nature of this defense, and just we weren't able to generate 7 when we got in the red zone. That would help,
Dan, certainly you expected there would be some growing pains, perhaps with a young offensive line and 3 new pieces in the middle there.
Yeah.
What do you think was the biggest issue today with just the entire game up front on offense?
Well, I think really we just never, if you're talking about the 60 minutes of offensive football, we really never got in a rhythm. We did for a couple of drives, man, where we got it down there and then we didn't finish. We weren't able to finish with 7. We had to settle for 3, then we have an interception. But other than that, we just never really got in a rhythm. And when your run game's not quite clicking the way you want it to, and then that affects your play pass, and now you get in that type of game, you're down 2 scores. Well, those guys are going to pin their ears back, and that's hard on any offensive line. And on top of that, you got a defense that's going to keep everything in front of them. So, you get in a bad way. So.
With these changes, the changes that you're going through, do you feel like you'd be more prepared for this opener than it looked at that point?
Yeah. I thought we would be. I thought we'd be cleaner than we were. I thought we'd be much cleaner than we were, and it wasn't as clean. But there again, you're talking about a few plays that were critical. But like I told the team, these are so correctable. Everything that showed up is so correctable, and we'll hit it head on. Our players are accountable, man. They're ready, and nobody takes it worse than they do. So that's the good news. We got the right dudes.
Now you said it's not what it appears to be. Some of the biggest questions I think people on the outside have are some of the things that rear their heads today, though. The personnel, I guess, on the offensive line and all plays, like the pass rush. Where does your confidence come from that this is just
Well, look, this is the same thing we ran into with AG and Ben. I mean, in 22, we remember we started 1-6. I mean, I think people are asking me to fire Ben at 1-6. So look, it took us a while to get our feet, man. So to get our bearing, but you learn every time you go through these and you work together and you find the right flow, and you do it collectively, you do it together, and like I said, man, the more those 5 play together, we got 2 young guards, but the more they all play together, the better we're going to get. These are real reps against other opponents, and you get a full game, and man, you go and you teach off of it, and you correct it, and you learn from it, and you move on. Yeah, he's got looks like he's got a bit of a groin right now. Don't know how it was enough to not come back, so we'll see.
that impact this player? 2 play touchdowns, maybe got beat at a couple.
So I'm sorry.
Did that impact some of his play early? He got beat out a couple of that two-play
I
touchdowns.
I don't know. Not that I know of. I mean, I don't know when it necessarily happened. You know.
From a defensive standpoint, what do you feel like Green Bay did to control last year's pass rush?
You know, they did a good job of stepping up. We did some things where we sent inside interior pressure, and I know that, you know, there's a few times I thought they did a good job of bottling it up, you know, and if you can hit some of that stuff head on, especially your halfback will go up and take on the backer, you know, it can you can get bottlenecked in there, and that happened a few times. So we got out of it and then just tried to, you know, do some straight rush here and there, and they nudged the edges. You know, they made sure they hit Hutch. They weren't going to let Hutch just go one-on-one, you know, which he knows that too. I mean, that's the world he's in, man. He doesn't get one-on-one. So, yeah, we got to be better. We got to be better, you know. We got to be better. And when you get a one-on-one, you got to win your one-on-one.
Oh, sorry.
No,
What's
you're
the
good.
message to Brian Branch after that unsportsmanlike conduct?
Yeah, he's better than that. He knows better. He knows better. That was the message. You know, he knows better than that, man. So it's one of the things we talked about, man, keeping your head. So he knows better.
Beyond the last, not just the last half of the off, do you think Michael Parsons impacted the game substantially, mediumly?
No, I mean, look, when he comes in, he's a good player, you know. But I thought all of those guys up front played pretty good for them today. I mean, they created a lot of pressure, and there was a lot of movement. You know, but look, he's only going to get better, more in shape, and it's only going to get better for him.
Dan, you guys have the Bears and Ben Johnson coming in next. What do you think will be different about facing the head coach, where both you guys just know each other so well?
What I think will be different, I don't, you know, I don't know. Haven't really thought much about him. Certainly I will now that we're about to get ready to play. But I think he's going to be who he is, and I'm going to be who I am, and we play ball. Let the players roll it out there and let them go, you know.
Just wanted to ask about one more, Dave. Third downs early, it seemed like you had chances to get on the field and you tried to open everything. You know, rushing forward, rushing six, some of this, you just couldn't do it. How impactful was that to sort of snowball?
Well, I thought they had a good plan over there. You know, I did. I thought they had a really good plan, and that doesn't take away from us not doing what we need to do. But you know, they had some early answers, and you know, we made some adjustments, settled in the second half, did some things to give us a chance to get back in it, and then we just couldn't generate enough offensively. So there again, man, we got to be better. We got to be more precise in what we do when we run the games, when we run some of these pressure packages. And then if it's not, and we're rushing forward, whoever's got the one-on-one's got to find a way to win, you know. And we'll, like I said, we'll look at the tape and figure out what it all looks like. I can't tell you the entirety of it all right now.